Oh, hi, Jim. I was surprised you came to me first. I guess my first question was actually not going to be about the cancellations tonight. It was going to be about what about the 50% capacity games that are going to have to be dealt with for the 5 weeks following this weekend? Is there anything that's been worked out about which fans will be able to attend those games and which fans won't?
Well, that does not fall under my responsibility here, but I do believe the season's ticket holders get priority, and they will get the first opportunity to be able to use their tickets, and then from there we'll move on.
Okay, and we'll go next here to Ian McIntyre, Sportsnet.
Hi, Jim. We saw this morning that Tyler Myers was added to COVID protocol. Should we expect that there will be other players added to that list later today?
We don't know. We get the testing back late this afternoon, and at that time we'll see. As you know, with these spreads, there's usually one or two guys a day. It seems that's the way it's going now. We'll keep our fingers crossed and hope there's not any more, but we'll update you when we get the test back.
And what was your reaction when you heard? I'm sure you were in contact with the NHL, but when the decision was made to postpone your games tonight and tomorrow, what were your thoughts?
Well, I wasn't totally surprised. I was a little bit disappointed. I know that a lot of people came from out of town for this game. I feel bad for those fans that made those arrangements. And from a team point of view, this was going to be a really good test for us. Every game's a test, but this is one of the Maple Leafs are one of the top teams in the league, and we would have got a good look at how our team responded against them. So we're disappointed, but safety comes first, the safety of the players, safety of the fans, and I think this is the right decision.
Next up is Brendan Batchelor, Sportsnet 650.
Hi, Jim. Just wondering if there's been any discussion about the status of the games on Tuesday and Thursday as they're currently scheduled.
There hasn't been any discussion with the league and the Canucks. I'm sure this is all under discussion on a regular basis. And I did ask that question to the league, and they said, we want to get through the weekend now, and we'll look at next week when the time comes.
And just a comment from you on the signing of Ashton Sautner today.
Yeah, well, we felt that we needed to strengthen the depth on our team on defense. He's a player that's been here before. He's played a little bit. He's a good character guy in the organization, and we felt that he deserved an NHL contract, and the timing for it for us was important too.
Next up is Ben Kuzma, Post Media.
Hey, Jim, I'm kind of curious about maybe not so much Myers because you may not know yet. What is your medical staff telling you, Jim, about the players in protocol? It would seem that the Leafs are saying that of their players, most of them are asymptomatic, meaning that they're not really showing many symptoms, or if they are, they're very mild. Are you hearing anything from your medical staff on the state of your players who are in protocol?
Well, I've talked to our players that are in protocol, talked directly to them, and they're all telling me the same thing as what you heard from the Maple Leafs, that their symptoms are very mild.
It's never a perfect world when we're hit with something like this, Jim, especially such an aggressive variant like the Omicron. But, timing was everything for your club, riding a 6-game win streak and just playing great hockey. And like you mentioned, a real litmus test today. You can't really control these things, but I guess are you concerned about momentum here if you guys are sidelined for a number of games and you regain that as a club?
Well, we don't have a choice.
Yeah.
I mean, we're in a hole here, and the good thing is over the last 6 games, a lot of these players have played better than they played early in the season. And we know that some of them are capable of doing better. And it seemed like they had a good positive thing together, and they were having fun playing as a team and like playing with each other as a group. So there were some really good signs there. whenever they tell us to play again, we just have to get it going.
Okay, a reminder to all on the call to please raise your hand if you have a question. We'll go to our next person now. That's Thomas Drance with The Athletic.
Hey, Jim. The NFL has moved to a more targeted version of protocol where they're not testing vaccinated players who are not symptomatic at this point. And Red Wings general manager Steve Yzerman had sort of advocated that perhaps something like that could be coming to the NHL, or that he'd be supportive of that. Do you have any thoughts on the current protocol and whether it may need to be relaxed in light of the fact that players that seem to be testing positive are largely asymptomatic or dealing with mild symptoms?
Yeah, I don't have an opinion on it. I mean, we're living in a new world, a new strain. It changes all the time with different variances, and I don't understand it enough. I try to follow the doctors and the so-called experts that we watch on TV, and some of them are getting it right, and some of them aren't. And so I don't know. I mean, I'm certainly open to it. I would like to see us play a full season and figure out a way to do that. But for me, safety comes first. And if we can do it the way the NFL's doing it and everybody feels comfortable that it's a safe way to doing it, then yeah, I'm all for it.
Thanks, Jim.
Next up, we'll go to Farhan Lalji, TSN.
Jim, can you take us through the decision-making process? Who made the decision? How did it happen?
I talked to Bill Daly yesterday, made him aware of the number of players we had out. I'd also talked to Kyle Dubas. He made me aware of what was going on with his team. And basically that was it. I was not making the case for us not to play the game. I was only giving him information. I called him early this morning to make him aware that we had another player in Tyler Myers. And he said, I'm sure I'll be talking to you later in the morning. I got into the office. I called him. He said, I was just getting ready to call you, Jim. And I started talking. He said, let me just jump in. He said, we've already made the decision that we're going to cancel your 2 games. And so basically the process and the decisions on this are made at the league level through the doctors.
Gotcha. And secondly, I know that Kyle Dubas said that Daly made clear to him that the Leafs were not shut down per se. It was just a case of these 2 games being postponed at this point. Have you been given the same messaging that you're not shut down? You can still have activities internally and things like that, and that it's just the 2 games that are on hold right now?
That's correct. These games are not canceled. They're postponed. Hopefully we can play them at a later date, and we can proceed accordingly. We can practice if we want. I don't know what Bruce will decide there, but we can have fairly normal activities except play the games.
Okay, we have time for a couple more here. We'll go to Daniel Wagner with Glacier Media.
Jim, you've got the 6 players and a coach in COVID protocol. Have you had any other Canucks staff testing positive for COVID?
We have not.
Okay. And do you feel fortunate that you were able to go to the States and not have any positive tests while in the States so that players were able to come back to Vancouver safely?
Yes. Feel very fortunate. The players really weren't comfortable with going and getting stuck there. And I'm sure that'll be part of the decision for this game going to San Jose, especially at this time of the year. So, yeah, we feel very fortunate that our players got back safe.
Okay, and our last question now comes from Carol Schramm with Forbes and the Canadian Press. Carol, go ahead.
Thank you. Hi, Jim. While we have you here, I just wanted to ask you quickly about this week's announcement of Derek Clancy's hiring as assistant general manager. What can you tell us about Derek and about the work that you did with him in Pittsburgh?
He was in Pittsburgh before I got there. He was with the team when they won the Cup in 2009. So he is a 3-time Stanley Cup winner. Like everybody that works in hockey ops, they all contributed in some ways, but I like Derek a lot. He's a good hockey guy. He can evaluate talent, and I relied on him heavily in Pittsburgh. And so to have him here and join in with the guys that we already have here, Stan Smeal and the Sedins and Ryan Johnson. Will obviously have their input, their ideas of what's gone on here and their ideas going forward. And then we'll have some new ideas of new people we bring in. And the first person I brought was Derek Clancy, a guy that I think is a really good hockey guy.
Thanks. And with everything that's been going on this week, have you had much opportunity to look towards some of the other new people that you might want to bring in?
I've been working on it. I've been making a lot of calls to get permission to talk to players that are under contract in other organizations, calls to people that aren't under contract, another potential assistant general manager, and then try to narrow my list on general managers. So at some point in time in January, start to meet with them in person.
Okay, we'll leave it there for today. Thank you once again, everyone, for joining us this afternoon, and to Jim Rutherford for taking the time to do this. Thanks, and stay safe, everyone.